in case we got a problem. So anyway, we're on our way. So some of you are new officers, some of you are existing officers, but you've been given a role in your club, sometimes by default, but sometimes by election, or all by election, but sometimes by default. But anyway, it's a great opportunity to learn, grow, and help your community. So we're going to have, here's some of the things we're going to try to accomplish. We're going to do a really brief Lions history. We're going to describe Lions Club International's structure, describe the standard club structure, identify the duties and responsibilities of each club officer, be familiar with the standard club constitution and bylaws, understand meaningful projects. You're going to hopefully know what a good meeting is, and be familiar with the LCI suite, which includes MyLCI, MyLion, and the Lions Learning Center. Those are a lot of the things are the reporting options in the LCI suite and MyLion. Those will be going on. We'll go over those in detail for the individual positions when we hold those webinars. So this is just an overview. Excuse me. So Lions Club history. Everybody should know this one. 1917, Melvin Jones founded LCI in Chicago. He was a businessman that was in business clubs, but the business clubs were all about promoting their businesses, and he wanted to do something more than that to give back to his community, so he formed Lions Club International. First international club was in 1920 in Windsor, Canada. First club in Montana, the Billings Lions Club, 1921. At a Lions convention, or one of the early Lions conventions, Helen Keller spoke at it and challenged Lions to become Knights of the Blind, and that's where we started with the original eyesight challenge to help blind people. As you know, we do many things nowadays, but that was the start of the challenge to be Knights of the Blind. In 1968, the Lions Club International Foundation was formed. That is our nonprofit arm, which gives we donate money to and gives out a bunch of money every year to both Lions Club projects as well as a lot of other international, national and international causes and grants. On 1987, the Montana Lions Sight and Hearing Foundation was formed. Currently, there are 48,000 clubs and 1.4 million members. And Dr. Choi is our international president and will remain so for the following year due to the COVID-19 events. This was, so we weren't able to have an election, so he was going to remain the president for another upcoming year. By the way, I'm Mike Collins. I'm the incoming district governor starting in July. We also have Verna Love, our current district governor, on the webinar. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is recommendations. Of course, when we start a new club, it's got to be 20 members. Typically, a zone consists of 4 to 8 clubs. We actually, regions that are optional, we have them in Montana. We do have 4 regions because we're so large. A district has at least 35 clubs and 1,250 active members. Currently, we have 67 clubs, and I forgot to look at that number. 1,600.
1,685.
Yep, 1,685 members right now. Oh, well, there are 1,675, but we're up 10 more of that. We used to be part of what's called a multiple district. You may hear that in Lions someday, run across that. We we're part of a multiple district 37 a while back, which has separate districts located in a managed district. And each Lions Club is located in what's called a constitutional area. We're constitutional area 1. Here's a little chart that lets you envision that. This one's kind of hard to read, but this is what's called the standard club structure. It's not mandatory that your club look like this, but it's recommended. As you can see, there's a lot of optional things depending on the size of your club. Some of this may or may not be applicable. Okay. Officer duties. So we have president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, media past president, membership chair. Oops. Why didn't my slide show up? There's the first boo-boo. Supposed to have some little things that tell you what they are. Obviously, the president is the chief executive officer of the club, runs the meetings. Vice presidents are typically assigned committee heads or duties to help the president. And again, we'll have training on these individual president, secretary, treasurer, and the membership chair is the other one we'll be doing. Some clubs, some are optional, pail twister, marketing communication. It's highly recommended, but a lot of clubs don't necessarily have that. Okay, constitution and bylaws. So there's you'll find a wealth of information on the Lions Club International site. Here's what's called the Resource Center, where you can search for all kinds of documents, club administration. So here's some of the documents Verna was talking about. Blueprint for a stronger club. Anyway, there's a whole bunch, and your standard club constitution actually is not right in that, but there is included in the handouts is the standard club constitution and bylaws. Lions Club International does not, come on, open up, does not require, oops, that you can make moderate changes to the standard constitution and bylaws, the standard club ones. For example, you could certainly, and it's highly recommended that like your club may have a different vision statement or a mission statement. A lot of this fine print is mandatory, but again, these can be tweaked. The purpose of your club can be maybe different than this. A lot of the membership stuff is required, and lots and lots of stuff if you like to read exciting and fun sleeping material. That like I said, that is in the handouts. So your club can have its own constitutional bylaws. You can take those and tweak them. They typically are voted on by the whole club. For example, I know the Sunrisers Lions Club here in Kalispell has devoted their club mission to working with youth. And that's basically all their projects, all their fundraisers are oriented towards the youth in the community. So you can do things like that. Meaningful projects. We're going to spend a little time on this one. Really, one of the most important things for a club to do is to have projects that impact your community. That is the most significant way to get and keep members excited about what your club is doing. You know, a lot of clubs, and my club is guilty of, not guilty, it's not a guilty thing, but we give away a lot of money. We don't do a lot of public facing project stuff that is out there in the community. And there are a lot of clubs in Montana that do have some really good visible public projects, and those are really important. We're going to talk a little bit about the community needs assessment. One of the most to decide what your community needs is it a good way to everybody just get around a table in your club and say, we need a new library or a new park or new this or something of that. That's what our community needs. This mechanism, and it's included in the handouts. It's part of what's called the service toolkit. So what you do is your club gets together and follows this assessment. So first, club gets together, decides what the strengths and challenges are. Our club is old. Our club has some great people that, you know, the strengths can be the mayor is part of our club, things like that. You want to do stuff that motivates your members. What are their passions? What are they excited about doing? What gets them going? What are the specific community needs that motivate us? So you will need a fair amount of club people to do this because you know, gets involved. This basically is a guide step through it, listing your strengths, your challenges, what your motivates. It's this really great step-by-step deal. Eventually, you will turn around and start talking about maybe going out to your community leaders and finding out what they view things that they need. There are several steps to this. This is just one of the steps to the service toolkit is your club area. Anyway, like I said, these are some really fabulous resources. The service is extremely important for motivating your club, for exciting your club, and for getting new members in, because you bring a new member in and you say, well, what do you guys do? Well, we meet and have lunch, and we give money to people, and we sell raffle tickets, and that's not especially younger people, that's not going to excite them. That's not going to get them excited about being a Lion. So very important stuff. Let me double check. We don't have any questions at this point. Okay, have good meetings. It's very important to have, you know, have good meetings. Greet everybody, make them feel welcome. Absolutely. Reminding everybody of our meetings and activities. Involve everyone in the club. Name tags. Does your club have name tags? It's a great idea to make sure you wear them, especially if you have new people or visitors, and everybody's wearing their name tags. Again, back to community service, and have some fun. This is a fun little video. There's several of these out there.
You enjoying your first pancake breakfast?
Oh, it's delicious. Thanks, Lion Carissa.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guys, listen, I know I'm a new member, but I had an idea.
Good job.
What if we also served waffles?
Waffles. Lions eat pancakes, always have.
Do you want to lose your pin?
No, pancakes are the champion of the breakfast table. They're the only food worthy of the king of the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it might be nice to have a little variety, right? I mean, hey, look, we have syrup, we have butter in the back, and I actually carry a waffle iron in my hatchback.
You remind me of this guy who tried to bring French toast to the group. French toast Dennis.
Yeah,
Ooh.
we don't talk about FTD anymore.
R.I.P. FTD. Oh, yeah, he didn't die, but he's dead to us.
Hashtag
Lions pride.
Look, I know that being a lion is all about following tradition, but I'm just saying, what if we made our own traditions, you know, shook things up a little bit? Like what if we served crepes?
No.
Or a quiche?
Oh.
What about dinner for breakfast?
It's very clear. Pancakes in the morning, spaghetti at night, everything in Lions Club will be all right. It's there in the bylaws.
No, it isn't.
It should be.
Sorry for going against the group here,
That was
right?
good.
Yes.
No big deal.
I brought a salad for myself. I
Oh,
hope that's okay.
Absolutely. Do
It's not Rabbit's Club. Eat your pancakes.
you want some syrup?
No, thank you.
Do you want syrup?
Yes, I
There
would
it
love
is.
some syrup. Thank
Oh,
you.
fine.
Hopefully that's not your club. Like I said, we want to have fun. We want to be accepting of new members and new ideas.
This is Lions Clubs International. They claim to be the global leader in humanity.
Okay. As I said, this is the first one of these, so it's there's a few fumbles here and there. Anyway, does anybody have any questions about anything at this point? Okay. Well, the LCI, what's called the LCI suite now, is actually multiple things. They put everything in one place to make it a lot simpler. Some of them are not as simple, and they're a little more complicated. But when you go there, this is the site. If you do a search for My Lion login or My Lion, that you will get to this page. If you do not have a previous sign-in set up, you could do the register here, and it's going to walk you through, if you did My Lion, yes or no. You can fill out then it'll be asking, you'll need your member ID that's on your membership card, and fill out this, and eventually it will hopefully get you your login. And then you can, once you sign in, and of course, all right, I love it. There we go. This is what it takes you to now. My LCI is typically where the secretary would do reporting. There we go. Again, this is going to look different depending on who you are, because I am vice district governor. I have multiple titles, but you can, if you have multiple titles, you can switch between them up here. You select your title. It will default if you only have one. For example, you're the secretary, you're the president. You will basically have the My Lions Club part, where here's the member part. If you're a president or a secretary, you can modify things in here. Since I'm not, I can't. But if you're a treasurer, you can. Here's where you can get your statements for to pay your current dues. If anything is due, it would show you in here. Here's your club officers. Anyway, that is what my LCI primarily is. My Lion is where now you do all your service reporting. So this is typically usually this is a secretary's function usually, where you can go in, although other people can do some of their entry, depending. But most of it's a secretary role, and that when we get into the secretary training, we'll be covering this in depth. It can be a little confusing and challenging, but like I said, we will, under that training, highly encourage your to have your secretary sign up. We do not have that scheduled yet, but we will be probably in the next couple of weeks getting that scheduled. So come on. Now they've had the store in here. If you need to do any shopping, you can get to the Lions store right through here, right through this login now. And then really important, what's called the Lions Learning Center. There's all kinds of self-led learning opportunities, primarily in the online training area. Again, depending on what your current role is, it will take you to different things in here. But you can also take classes without being assigned, if you're an upcoming secretary or treasurer, or you can go to the content library and find. So here's a club president learning class, club secretary, club treasurer. There's club officer training. So I understand you guys couldn't see my screen there. Okay. I'll back up because you guys missed all that. So okay, sorry about that. So anyway, here's the My Lion login page. Again, here was the register option. If it took you through this, if you had a Lion account set up under My Lion app, then you would say yes. You say no, you fill out your member ID, fill out all this information. It'll walk you through getting set up with the login. Once you have a login,
Mike,
yeah,
I have some comments here where they're not seeing what you're talking about. Did you
yeah,
address? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, hopefully everybody's seeing that now. So again, to sign in, we'll be back. Here's your options. It's got five options for various stuff under My LCI. You're not. So what are you seeing now, Mike? Okay. Better? Sorry about that. Always a fun learning experience. Okay. One more time. So again, this is the where you can register, as I talked about. Once you have an account set up, you sign in. Now You've got the um, 5 options. My LCI, My LCI, which is you guys were wondering what the heck I was talking about here. So here's the screen. Typically, you would see your club information if you're a club officer. There was the statements and dues for the treasurers that I talked about. Would tell you, and by the way, Lions Club International is not sending out paper statements this month because of COVID. So this is the only way you can get your April and May statements once the May statement's available.
Mike,
Yes,
could I jump in here real quick?
sure.
This is addressed to all of your club secretaries. If the information that's located in My LCI is very vital to district governors and zone chairs when they are making their club visits. As you know, the end of April 30th, is when you should have had your PU 101 submitted. That is so very important because a lot of times when we go out to make visits, we rely upon the information that's located in My LCI. That is also where the information is relied upon when we do the district directory. So if you go on the website to access the district directory, if the information in My LCI is not correct or if it's missing, it creates quite a bit of havoc because we rely upon what your club secretaries are reporting. So if the information is not accurate, we don't know where to go, who to call. We don't have email addresses. But whatever is recorded in My LCI is what is going to go into the directory. So I would stress with all, I'm begging here, to please make sure that your officer information is correct. Sometimes I have had to contact certain presidents and they don't have an email address, the phone numbers have changed, and so I just have to go down the list and hit some member that knows how to get in touch with that officer. So your PU 101 is extremely important, and the accuracy in My LCI is, I can't tell you how important that is. So that's what I wanted to, since we were on that page, I wanted to just jump in and say that. Thank you.
Thanks, Verna. Yes, and you can, unfortunately, I'm not a person that can designate officers in my club, but this is where you would do it. So anyway, that's the quick overview of My LCI. My Lion again is the place now where we're reporting service and projects, and you can also do things like set up your meetings in here as a was it as a activity, things like that. Any activities you got. So for example, this is my club, but this is some of the activities that we had done in the past. this is very important because this is very important that we keep it up to date, because this is one of the things that LCI, Lions Club International, uses to see what clubs are up to in terms of, they're not spying on you, but they have a lot of partners out there. For example, we had partnered with the Bill Gates Foundation in a measles thing, and the Bill Gates Foundation wanted to know what Lions were doing, why they should partner with Lions clubs, because to give Lions clubs millions of dollars to help fight measles is what they ended up doing. And this is one of the mechanisms that Lions Club International can take to someone like the Gates Foundation and say, hey, look at all this fabulous, wonderful stuff. We're affecting tens of thousands of people around the world. And so this is another really important stuff. Again, we'll have detailed training on this under the secretary class upcoming. I know some of it's a little difficult to navigate, but they've made it a lot better than when they first did it. So it's a doable thing. But I, really beg people, clubs and club secretaries, to try to report as much service as your club is doing. Again, now the store is here, so you can go shopping for Lion stuff for your club, or so club supplies, recognition awards, et cetera, et cetera. This is where you can do all your wonderful Lion shopping. Insights basically is a reporting place. It's pretty new, and I don't know how far they've got, but it does let you see, for example, has your club donated to Campaign 100? What's your membership trend? Of course, because I'm a district officer, it's showing our district criteria here, but you can, when you go in, you would show your club insights. This is, for example, this is our district, how we're doing these days, 1672 is our current total membership for the district. Of course, with COVID, our service activities have dropped significantly, but that's completely understandable. This is donations to LCIF. Again, Montana is one of these places where we've gotten grants. We were allowed 2 what's called standard grants, matching grants every at a time. We've had 2 for the last few years. We got $100,000 for the reader project, and so Montana typically gives back way less money than we get from international. So I highly encourage clubs to donate, and individuals, they take donations from individuals for LCIF. So, and last, and the one I was on when I discovered I had this all messed up, training. So Lions Club International has a whole bunch of really good training for people. Depending if you're like a secretary or a president, when you go in here, it should jump to the training recommended for you, but not. You can go to this content library, and here's, for example, the Lion Club, what's called the Lion Club President Learning Path. We're doing them. You can do it here, and we're doing them for Montana because there are some unique things to Montana that we're encouraging with these trainings. For example, the treasurer, not necessarily unique to Montana, but we're getting some details where these don't have things like filing your taxes with the federal government. We all have to do that. It's pretty simple, but we'll be doing that training in the treasurer training next weekend. club officer, there's quite a bit of quite a few. You can take it as courses, or you can take it as the pass available. So the learning paths are really great for, like I said, the club president. There's a couple of there's a club officer training session, and then a club president. That's kind of what we're doing here, is the club officer training session, doing our version of it. So excuse me, some really good stuff there. And it's not going to let me out of here, but that's okay. So you guys didn't get to see the video, you just got to hear it. There's some fun videos here on similar videos on This Is YouTube, and there's some really fun videos for Lions. Here's the
I just pin it anywhere on his vest?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
Right there is perfect.
We're
Not a lot of real
that's there. Oh,
line.
too many pins.
What? It happens every meeting.
I'm okay.
Of course he is.
He has a pin for being okay while he's on the floor.
Mhm.
Wow.
Takes him a while to get up because that vest weighs about, I'd say 85 to 95 pounds
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
point. Do you want us to just bring the pancakes down to you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Do you want breakfast meats as well?
Sausage.
great.
Absolutely.
Great. I love this organization.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
So there's some things you can do for your fun meetings if you would are interested in that. Let's see, do we have any more questions at this point? So you probably guys didn't get to see this. This was the community needs assessment that I was talking about. This is the first step of your, doing your club to decide what would be your good viable club projects. Again, we talked about having fun, productive meetings. Mike Tobin is doing the president, and I'm sure he's going to talk about that during his presentation. And there were, okay, My Lions Suite. All right, that's what we have for now. Verna, I believe, would like to talk a little bit about a couple other things. Let me make you the presenter. Well, we can't hear you, Verna.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mike, for setting up this meeting. As you all may or may not know, we had intended to have a live officers training in Fort Benton. They worked very hard on that. We were in a good mode, but of course, unfortunately, COVID-19 occurred. And so we had to come to some more inventive means to meet with you. And I thank all of you that are on the webinar tonight. So just to recap on the standard club structure, that would have been the very first slide when you people would have arrived on Friday night at the officers training. And the standard club structure is very, very important because I've spoken to just about every club in our district, and I've been hearing the same thing, that, well, I joined, I don't know much about Lions, I'm serving as an officer. And so I wanted to make sure that the standard club structure was out there. As Mike said earlier, we are a single district. There aren't many single districts out there now. As a matter of fact, we're involved in a pilot program called NAMI. We are past the stage of being a pilot district, but that means that we were the only single district invited into that group. So with that being said, a standard club structure for a single district involves the president, the immediate past president, the second vice president, the secretary, the treasurer. And I'm going to stop there because many clubs don't have enough members to have all of these positions. I've been dealing with some clubs that has a president and a vice president, but there sometimes is not a second or third vice president. However, it does not mean that your clubs cannot function. Now, my term ends on the 30th of June at midnight, and I'm counting the hours. And Mike has asked me to come on as the, we have so many alphabets in Lions. So I will be the GMT, which stands for the Global Membership Team Leader. Therefore, I will be working very closely with your membership chairperson, your president, and your secretary. In some cases, I will have to interact with the treasurer, but it's very important that I work with your membership chairperson, your president, and your secretary. It took me many years to get all of these acronyms and all of these procedures down pat, but that is the purpose of your global membership team person. And from now on out, we'll refer to that as your GMT. As governor, when we go out and speak, and we have a team, there's the governor, the first vice district governor, and the second vice district governor. The message that you should be hearing is always about membership, leadership, and service. Without membership, we cannot have any service. Without leadership, our members don't know what to do. And when you put those two together, we go back to our general theme. What is Lions all about? We serve our communities. And that's why there's a lot of information that Mike gave tonight that might not make any sense, but it comes together like a puzzle. How can you serve your community if you do not know what your community needs? Every community is different. In Dillon, as governor, like Mike indicated earlier, each governor has 2 standard grants that they can give out during their term, and they have to follow those until they're closed. Well, here in Dillon, we don't have the same needs as Kalispell. We don't have the same needs as Great Falls or Butte. So with that being said, that is why your community assessment is so important. And that way you can go to your community leaders and say, what is it that this community needs? How can Lions assist this community? I was privileged to be able to offer an emergency grant for $10,000 when the pandemic occurred, but I had to direct that to a community that had 100 or more residents impacted. I couldn't even give that grant away. So that money is just still sitting there. But that's why reporting of your service is so important, because even though that is not specifically a criteria, they do look at that. They do want to know, well, what are you guys doing? What do you need? So to all the secretaries are the backbone of every club in every district. So reporting your service activities is so very important. And I just want you to know, as district governor, that we are here for you. I do have an open door policy. You can contact me anytime, and I will be there to give you, if you need individual training, if you need answers, I'm here to do that. This district invested a lot of money and time in my training, and I'm here to give that back. So I'm just very grateful that the ones of you that did chime in did do that. There's a lot to learn. We do need your PU 101s in, because that makes it easier for our district administrator, and it will make Mike's job incoming July the 1st much, much easier. But as immediate past district governor as of July 1st, I'm still there if you need my help. And I'm here to support Mike Collins and Mike Tobin in any way that I possibly can. So if you have any questions, I do strongly encourage you to go into the LCI learning opportunities that are available. And please pay attention to the newsletters. And our website is back up and running. It's better than ever. And we will, keep you posted. I have, let's see, I just sent out my May letter. So my June newsletter will be my last, and then that will be picked up by incoming District Governor Mike Collins. But I thank you for all of your support, and I hope I've served you well. I did try my best. However, I did not expect anything called COVID-19. Thank you. Back to you, Mike.
All right. Thanks, Berta. I appreciate it very much. Somebody did ask a question that about the, we keep mentioning the PU 101. You do not physically have to fill that out and send it in. The best way to do your reporting of your offices is online through MyLCI. If for some reason you can't access that, or then yes, you can still file the paper, although those are pretty slow with LCI right now, because they just started getting people back in the office. Were working at home. So
Mike,
yes,
there are some people that don't do electronics, and so
right.
I have been receiving quite a few of those, and I've been signing those as district governor and forwarding those into MyLCI.
Yes.
And that has been very helpful.
Yeah, and either way is fine. I know that you guys received the PU 101s, but you can just do it online. Unfortunately, what Lions Club International chose to do last year, I don't know if they'll be doing it this year, was when the year ended at the end of June, if your club had not designated officers for next year, all your current officers lost access to the website, to My LCI and My Lion, and we had to physically send in the forms to get that access back. So highly recommend that you get your officers taken care of as soon as possible. Like I said, the quickest way to do it is in My LCI, but if for some reason you can't or don't have access, send in the paper. You can, you can fax it still, old technology. So yeah, if you guys could please get those taken care of, that'd be great. A quick, I didn't have a chance to set up a poll. So I don't know the best way to answer this, but if you would like to put in either the chat or the question, how did this time work? Do you think a better time or day of the week would work for these to get more people to come to it? Can I get some thoughts on that? I think we're going to have to look at upgrading so we can have people talk too. All right, well, it looks like we don't have any comments and we're going to end early. So like as Verna said, we're all available. All of our information is in this little magic book that your club should have several copies of. And my cell phone, Verna's phones, things like that, our emails are in there. Please contact us.
Ed had his hand up. Ed, do you have a question? Could you send a text?
We have several people commenting in the question box. Let's see, prefer during the week was one. Interaction would be helpful, yes. We tried to be budget. This wasn't a cheap project and unfortunately, or a cheap product, but I think we're going to need to spend the money. And we got a good, and one works for them, so. Well, thank you very much.
Let me just make one last comment. For several years, I had been suggesting when I was a zone chair, when I was a first vice district governor and so forth, there was some resistance to electronic meetings. However, COVID-19 has taught us that we do have to roll with the 21st century. It had it not been for this, most of my cabinet or advisory meetings would not have been possible. And I'm just grateful that we do have this technology. So I ask all of you to embrace it. If you need to use GoToMeeting, we do have GoToMeeting available. It was purchased for the district. You are welcome to use it. We also have free conference calling USA available. So please don't allow this virus to shut your clubs down. You can still meet. If you need an appointment, if you want to make sure that you can use GoToMeeting, contact Mike or myself. If we see nothing in the queue, then you're welcome to use it. So just know that we have means that we can meet in spite of this virus. We're Montanians. We're tough. So, you know, we can do this. So let's not give up.
All right. So next Saturday at 6, we have scheduled club officer training for specifically for treasurers. I promised we will do a better job, and we'll see about getting upgraded so we could actually be able to have people
Vocal.
vocal. I didn't realize this version didn't do that, but now we know. We've learned some lessons. So I would highly encourage anybody that's attending. We've only got 6 registered for the treasurer training at this point. So encourage your treasurer because we are going to talk some specifics. There's a few things that are specific to Montana. We're going to get into filing your tax reports and talk about budgeting and those type of things. Like I said, apologize for the rough start there, but we're learning. So thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
It's a new era. It's a new Montana Lions.
Everybody have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thanks to everybody for coming in.